All right.
Hello there, Gia.
Hello. Hello,
Oh,
everybody.
listen to that voice, people. That voice was not the voice I heard when I talked to Gia last week. Oof.
Yeah.
Oh,
First of all, I have to apologize because I've screwed up our schedule like a whole
well,
bunch. And
I thought we'd all agreed that it was Montana's fault, or possibly Texas had a hand in it as well.
and yeah. But anyway, I apologize for that. And so if you haven't been involved in the saga, I got sick. I had COVID.
It was
Believe it or not.
COVID. It was COVID,
Yeah.
everybody. Yeah.
I just sort of thought, well, I'll take one of these tests. We've all got piles of the tests lying around.
Sure.
And so I took a test, and I swear I hadn't even finished setting the silly Google alarm, and those two lines were like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you got
I
it."
was like tapping you on the shoulder.
Yeah,
Why did you turn around? We have your
yeah.
results.
But anyway, so I was down for the count for a while, and I so this is the second time I've had it, and it was a little more intense this time.
Mhm. Mhm.
Not like, oh, danger like the early days of it, but I
Yeah.
felt pretty poo poo caca for a couple days there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and we all were concerned, and we all wished you a speedy recovery, and
Oh,
maybe
and that
that
was
helped.
that was the second thing I want to say is you guys are all so lovely with your supportive comments and the outpouring of concern. It was
On
quite
the
touching.
Facebook. Yeah, the
On the
Facebook brought
Facebook,
out. Yeah,
yeah, it was very,
yeah.
very nice. And
And I don't know if it was exclusively horse people who were wishing you well. I'm assuming those were all horse people, but
well, somebody did
I've
say
made
that
my peace with that.
they hoped I would be back in the saddle soon, and
I know.
I was thinking, yeah, yep, I'm back in the saddle today. Yep. So, so I did finally catch up on all the general hospitals and everything. So we got a bunch of days, and I'm sure we
Oh,
won't
we've
cover
got
all
4 days, yeah. I kinda wanted to start with today's, but I also, before I forget, I wanted to go back to Wednesday's episode. That's when Lucky was saying his goodbyes, and he said his goodbye to Laura.
his
Um,
final goodbyes. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
which I thought was, I mean, Laura, that's when I love her the most, when she's so intentional in her reactions of,
Intentional. Listen to you, you
you
new
know.
age beauty. Intentional.
I
Her
think
chakras are all
that's high
aligned and
praise, isn't it, when somebody calls you intentional? I like that. I mean,
intentional. Yeah.
I think probably 20% of the time I'm intentional, and then the other 80% of the time I'm just sort of like haphazard or, hot-headed or whatever. But Laura is always even tempered, really, unless somebody really, is coming
Riles her
at
up.
her.
Yeah. She can do
Yeah.
the eyebrow raise though, like
Oh,
nobody's
like nobody's
business. Yeah.
business, yeah. But I
Yeah.
liked how she really, I don't even think she was being honest with herself, but she really put on a good show for Lucky so he could leave without feeling guilty,
Without
without
putting a
having
guilt trip
regrets.
on him. Yeah.
Yeah, you know? And
Yeah,
that
she gave him permission basically to be himself.
exactly. Even that, if that meant he was gonna be an asshole, a selfish asshole,
Kind of true, yeah. Like
You
kind of
know?
if you're gonna be a nothing burger, Peter Pan, perpetual.
Yeah.
Um, like
Yeah.
I think they want us to think he's like a Bob Geldof. Is that
You
the
sure? I was gonna say a Noah Drake. Is that his last?
from
No,
ER?
Noah. Yeah, was that his last name?
Oh,
No, that
yeah,
was it. Was
wasn't it? We could
Carter?
do
It
this.
was Noah
Oh,
Wiley,
Carter.
and
It
it
was
was John
Carter.
Carter. Who the hell is Noah
Oh
Drake? That
yeah,
was that Rick
you did like a
Springfield?
ship name. Yeah, yeah, that was.
Also a doctor.
We are off to a good start. Because I was totally with you on that. Yeah. Carter, right? A Carter with the
Yeah.
whole like going off to Africa side story that they
Yeah,
did. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and I almost thought, like, when he walked to the elevator after when he was leaving General Hospital, that's almost like what he was going for. And I don't think he quite pulled it off,
Well,
really.
he didn't pull it off because the writers gave us no reason to believe that he was a man of good works.
Yeah,
You
he had
know,
no destination. If he'd mentioned that he'd got this call to go to this one place or something to do something important,
yeah, if
that
we
would have made a big
saw,
difference.
right, if we saw that he had a passion for, improving the conditions in whatever some
Yeah.
region in Africa or whatever. They could have
Mhm.
they could have done anything if we'd seen
Mhm.
him have a passion. But we
Right.
saw like it would have been more believable that he's like a surfer dude that just likes to bum
Yeah.
around and
Yeah, that was
bartend for a
right,
while
right,
and
right. Yeah. Oh, and another little thing that made him look like sort of a dick was when he was at the airport with his uncle, Aiden.
oh, I was like, what? With his uncle? Was Drew there? Is Drew his uncle too?
Drew is another one of his sons,
Oh, and
yes.
he doesn't want to stay in Paris, and
Yeah,
that,
like, I mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
seriously, you can't just make Paris a destination just for your son, whom
just
you
for your son, yeah.
spent 10 minutes with in the last 20 years, you know?
I think you're
Um,
coming around to my despising of deadbeat dad kind of vibe. That,
maybe a
yeah,
little bit, Gia. Maybe
yeah.
I am.
I
So,
I feel bad. I feel like what a waste of that actor who was such a likable
yeah.
character,
Yeah, yeah,
as a little
I know.
kid.
Yep, yep,
Um,
and even yeah, and he had the potential this time around to be that
yeah, he
guy.
still has the charm and
Yep.
the looks. He's still very I don't know what it is. He's got a kind face, and
Mhm.
he's
Mhm.
I don't know. So they could have built him into a guy that does good works in the world, but just has itchy feet and he's
Yeah,
got to be out
yeah.
there.
Mhm.
But we just didn't see evidence of that. So it just felt like, oh, it's some douchebag guy that doesn't want to grow
Mhm.
up and he's out of here again. Like,
Yeah, yeah, and you got it exactly right. I think that he has, like, a surfer dude energy, like, he heard there were some big waves in Maui or something, so he's gotta go.
drink some Kona beer and
Last day at
um
Zuma, man, gotta make the best of it.
yeah. So that was kind of a sad ending. Are they going to bring him back? And would anybody be excited if they brought him back again? I'm not going to. I
I
don't know.
know. I in my mind, and this is it was kind of ruined because he did have Aiden with him, but I was thinking, wouldn't it have been cool if they had just pretended he was going away and then he was like doing some sort of investigating of Sidwell or something like that.
Ooh,
Like,
ooh, yeah, that could have been cool. Did
but
you?
I don't. Hmm?
Yeah, no, they didn't go there. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
did you like what they did with the whole "wait for me" and Elizabeth showing up for a second
Mm,
unnecessary goodbye? Or
well, I don't know. I did like that was a bit more poignant, that goodbye, and it seemed like their relationship sort of warranted something like that. But I don't
it
know.
was very soapy,
It
but
was very soapy, yeah. And I get anxious when people are late, and like
and I
if
don't think
I
you can do that. I mean, I just spent a whole
yeah,
bunch of
yeah.
time in a million
Exactly.
airports, and you
Yeah.
can't like go into somebody's gate anymore. I
No,
don't
and
think.
like, hold a flight. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
that all
no,
made
they
me
certainly will
uncomfortable.
not hold a flight. I can
No.
tell you that.
I know, I know. Yep.
But I don't
So
know. I did have a moment of thinking, like, well, maybe the contract talks didn't go well, and she's going to show up with a backpack
mm,
and be like,
mhm.
"I've got bar shampoo, and let's start."
Yeah, that could have been cute if she had gone with him, if only just for the Paris, like, stint, you
Right, for
know?
the summer or something,
Yeah,
just
that
like,
that
yeah.
could have been nice, but yeah, that wouldn't have been, I guess I don't know. That would have been okay with me.
Yeah, anyway, so I
Anyway.
just I had kind of mixed feelings, like, I guess go ahead and get out of here because 'cause they're not doing anything with you.
Yeah, then that felt bad, didn't it?
Yeah, and he was kind of morally compromised with the whole Christina thing too, and
He
that's
really was, yeah.
I didn't like that.
Mhm.
I don't like that.
I see? It
Yeah,
works. It works in a lot of
I'm
situations,
I'm
yeah. There's a
turning
lot of
into
things
that.
we don't like, yeah.
Yeah, it's just church lady. I don't like that.
Oh, dear. So, yeah, that was Wednesday. There was some other
Okay, and
stuff
did we
too, I guess.
did we talk about? I don't. I really. you know,
Oh,
I
well,
mean,
yeah,
in and
also
out of
Wednesday.
fevers for a while. Like, did we
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about the verdict at the trial
No,
and
no, that
Willow's?
all
Okay,
came down on Wednesday also, right?
all
When
right.
Willow really fell apart, really magnificently, didn't she?
Yeah, she kind of even had like one eye glued shut, and she allowed. I like it when pretty women allow themselves to be quite ugly. You know,
Yes.
like sacrifice themselves to the art
Uh-huh.
of the
Right.
acting, and I felt like she
Right,
did that
right.
quite well.
She really did, yeah, yeah. So that I think was what we wanted from her to
Yeah, she that was believable, and I mean, she really did seem like she was going into shock.
yeah, like becoming sort of catatonic, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm,
definitely.
mhm,
So kudos to her. Kudos to you,
mhm,
Willow. I mean,
mhm.
I'm not liking what you're doing, but that was very genuine feeling. Um,
Yeah, and I think everybody's kind of on the same page now, feeling like she is this way, she's broken all because of Drew.
right, right. Well, because of Drew, but ultimately because, she just needs years in therapy to figure out like
Yeah,
what
yeah.
is it that makes her go to this sort of
Right,
man?
right. She needs to trust some of her own, her instincts and what she knows is best, really. Like she
Well,
lost that whole
or
moral
not,
compass.
or she needs to not trust her instincts because, like,
Okay.
completely.
So she
She needs
needs
to
to
find
trust,
a decent instinct
yeah, or
first.
borrow someone else's instincts that are
Somebody
better.
needs to somebody needs to like give her a course on red flags,
Okay, okay.
you
I
know?
could also use that class, but
Well, yeah.
yes. Is there any sort of a class?
Red flags.
Harvard has a lot of free online
I
classes
don't
right
know. I mean,
now.
maybe are you like, what is there do you have some characteristics like her where like, is it a trust, like an over
I
trusting, or
think
is it
for me,
a matter of blinders
there's some of that, but then there's also this inability to believe somebody could be that bad. I
in spite
that
of everybody telling you that over and
well,
over?
telling you, yeah, isn't the same as like actually like experiencing it, and even when you experience it, you feel like there's got to be a reason, it's just maybe it's a bit of a denial.
A bit. Um,
She's back, people.
well,
The
I think
sass.
I think that I don't know if this is true in your case, but in Willow's case, certainly everybody telling her that Drew is
Mhm.
bad, Drew is bad, Drew is bad.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it kind of cemented her relationship with Drew. Like,
Kind of. It just becomes like sort of noise in your head, so you can't think clearly because you don't really know where the voices. It's hard to explain, but I think if she'd had like whoever was supportive, who didn't sort of insert so much of their own, distaste for Drew, allowed her to sort of think about him maybe a little bit more objectively,
well,
like Isaiah, I
that's what
guess.
Nina was trying to do.
She was trying, man, she did her best really
Yeah, yeah.
overall, I think,
Her
to
facial contortions were like
oh, man.
epic, but
Yeah, yeah.
she was trying to be the good cop to everyone else's bad
Mhm.
cop, and
Mhm.
I think that
Mhm.
was a good instinct on her part to like keep
Yeah.
lines of communication open,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it
I
still didn't
agree.
work.
Right.
Nothing worked. I think
Mhm.
Willow was just driven to do this self-destructive move.
Mhm. I
It
guess
was like
she's never really had a time where she was sort of independent and functioning, like, on her own, right? Has she always had somebody else sort of like
without a man. I mean, ever since we've known her, it was
yeah,
Shiloh. She came on the scene with
yeah,
Shiloh, right?
yeah, yeah. Well, had she fled? No, I can't even remember that, but yeah, she was under his spell.
And then she was with Chase.
Yeah. Chase, yeah. Chase was lovely. Hmm.
Yeah, that seems like such a long time ago, doesn't it?
Yeah. Mhm.
And then left to Chase for Michael, and then yeah. So I guess we haven't really seen her being independent much.
Right. So she doesn't really trust that she can handle things on her own, I don't think.
Yeah, maybe not.
You
Um,
know? She
or
doesn't
she maybe she's got that like needs the dangerous man thing because in spite of the way they tried to retell her and Michael's marriage, that
Mhm.
sounds ignorant. Her and Michael's marriage. I don't know, however you
Her
say it.
marriage her
Um,
marriage to Michael? Or with
yeah,
Michael? Okay.
yeah. Um,
Mhm.
they tried to make it. They sort of like were retelling it, like, oh,
Yeah.
there were signs that it was bad and blah. It's like, not
Right.
really.
Not
I mean,
really, no. No.
but maybe that's enough. Like, maybe if things are good and settled, then she's one of those
Mhm.
kinds of people that
Yeah, yeah. You had observed that before, yeah, that maybe she was restless, right?
But yeah, that if you are brought up in a way that, there's always drama, high
Mhm.
drama, and suddenly you're
Mhm.
just raising 2.0 kids and,
Yeah, and
nobody's
man,
got
one of them is
cancer
a
anymore
0.
and
Sorry. You're giving Amelia 2 points, I think that's kind.
poor little Wiley. Um, but you know what I mean? Like if your MO is if the only way life to, have meaning is if you've got to have huge drama, then trauma and
Mhm.
drama, maybe she just
Yeah.
like things were going too well with Michael, maybe.
Right, yeah, and I think, yeah, it's equal parts trauma and drama.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I've
mm,
known people in real life for sure that like
mhm,
just seem to thrive, like say things to each
mhm,
other that I think
mhm.
if anybody said that to me like that, that would
Yeah.
be the end,
Yeah.
but the next time you see them, it's, oh, all lovey-dovey again, and it's
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
they have the
Uh-huh.
need to
Right,
fight like that or create
right.
tension or
Yeah.
whatever. And
Mhm,
I,
mhm.
I don't get it because confrontation for me is,
Oh, it's awful, yeah.
yeah, it's quite
Mhm,
awful. But
mhm, hmm.
anyway, points to Willow for her meltdown. Excellent meltdown. One of the best I've
Excellent.
seen.
One of the yeah, yeah, and we knew it was coming, I think, and, she executed it very nicely.
Yep.
Um, and then, well, I really liked how Nina ripped into Drew, after that. I thought
Yeah, it's
she
all you, basically. She was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Mhm. I don't think it landed really with him very, very much,
No,
but
well, I mean, he's definitely. I know I keep calling everybody a psychopath, but he's like, I think he
yeah.
might be a psychopath.
Yeah,
But
and a narcissist, is that fair to say?
yeah, we should look
Yeah.
that up in your DSM. What are they on now? DSM what? What number?
It might be 5. It might be 5, gee, I'm not sure, and there's at least 1 chapter that's devoted to just you and me.
Just to Drew? Oh,
Just oh,
yeah.
eh,
We're in the
eh.
same chapter? Aw, that's sweet.
Oh, they cite our Nariva experiment. Nariva tried to get them to pull that. Anyway,
We're kind of, it was a little bit of a Flowers for Algernon story, our attempt with the Nariva. We got smarter and smarter, and then
did we
and then
know?
when the drugs started leaving our system, we just went back to,
We lost ground ultimately,
yeah, and then we died just like the mouse.
just like
Oh,
the mouse. Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Tell me you read it,
yeah,
right?
yeah. We've talked
Okay.
so much about flowers for Algernon here too. Um, but what was I going to say about Drew? Oh yeah, he kept popping up in different places, trying to figure out how he could change this situation, right? Like he's trying to impose himself on this whole like
Yeah, and
apparatus of the courts and justice and
I
verdicts and
almost
everything.
had a moment where I not liked him, but had a little respect for him because it was to all the way fast forward to today.
Yeah, yeah.
But he had a moment where it sounded like he might consider leaving Willow just so that she could get her kids back. Like he
Mhm.
considered it for a
Mhm.
moment.
For a moment, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then he convinced himself that staying by her side is really
Is
what's
yeah,
needed.
exactly what she needs, yeah, nothing less than him at her side, yeah.
But he is kind of obsessed with her, man. I don't know if that's love.
I don't
Um,
think it's love because I I mean, especially because he did sort of manipulate her into making all of these decisions that he should be smart enough to know were not gonna work in her favor ultimately, like bringing Wiley to
yeah.
Washington,
And
DC, bullshit like that, and moving her
yeah.
into his house, all and that guardianship, all of those things really were, like, way over the line.
Do you think it's all like twisted Quartermain issues for him? Like it's all about possessing something that belongs to a Quartermain? Um,
Yeah, I think it does have something to do with that. Yeah, and I think he I don't know, like, that thing with Lila's ring, and he
right, because that
kept
was
that. Just
creepy
like
and weird,
yeah,
and
yeah.
the
Mhm,
Quartermain name stuff, and like,
mhm.
is this really more about getting a hold of these Quartermain grandchildren than?
Yeah, and then I don't know what he'd do with them, but I don't think he would take good care of them, you know?
No, I mean we haven't seen Scout in eons, so I
Eons,
mean.
and that was super cruel what he did to Wiley.
Oh, yeah, that was despicable. Even
Yeah.
Rick like saw that. That
Yeah,
was like he
yeah.
didn't stop it, but he noted it. You know.
Right, and when Nina confronted him about that, he didn't deny it, he, like, leaned into it, so it's like he didn't think that was a bad thing really.
I'm starting to feel like that's the mark of a true evil person when they lean into shit.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, uh-huh, yeah. We could almost segue into, Lulu, but I don't know if we're quite done with Drew yet.
all right. When did lean into become part of
I know,
today's?
I'm not sure, I don't really like it when I use that, but it does kind of work. Or is it
Yeah.
the equivalent of having a hard on for someone? Or is it different?
No, no, it's completely
That's when you're
different.
gunning for somebody when you have a hard on for them?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
right.
You're welcome, everyone, in case you were also
You're
confused
gunning
about
for
the
him with a
difference with your
particular,
wiener.
yeah, with a particular body part. Yeah, like you're just like that. You're driven to, but
Yeah.
usually it's get them in a bad way. It's like,
Yeah, so Lulu had a hard
yeah,
on for Brooklyn.
right. And that
Mhm.
sounds like weirdly not sexy and sexy at the same
Yeah.
time. It's like
It does kind of,
unravel
yeah.
all the parts of what you just
Yeah.
said there.
I'm not
But
maybe
yeah,
we should just try to delete that mentally if we
mentally,
can.
yeah.
But I
Most of that lingo I picked up from
from
NYPD
NYPD
Blue.
Blue, yeah.
Yeah, so don't
I know
blame
you
me.
I know. She's a big Dennis Franz fan, everybody.
Sexy. Um,
But I wanted to talk a little bit about Jason's interaction with Drew because I also liked his treatment of Drew in the end there.
that scene today with Drew and Jason, like
Mhm.
I don't care what your religion is or whatever, if you believe
Mhm.
in evolution or not, but if you
Mhm.
were on the fence about evolution,
Mhm.
I think watching that scene, like
Mhm.
that was like two gorillas, like just like displaying or something, or
Pounding their
like,
chests in front of each other.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and
yeah.
they're
Mhm.
both just such. I mean, like if you look at them, like you could just start seeing gorilla faces on them. Like
Yeah, uh-huh.
they're both such beefy, like gym rat kind of dudes, and
Yeah.
it was fascinating, really,
It was.
watching them.
It was,
Yeah,
yeah, and I felt like I was, like there was a lot of teeth gnashing, and I was, like, right in there. Like, all of these interactions were so sort of like you picked a side in so many of these things that have been going on lately,
yeah,
like
yeah.
we're all on one side, I think, or at least it feels
Yeah, we
like
did. I
that,
mean,
you
and
know?
today we had like three of those go on.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, I know, the whole thing, I was, like, just sort of like my fists were clenched almost, you know?
oh dear, you should have stopped and realign your chakras and
I should, because I watched all those episodes, like, right in a row.
gotten a little kombucha. Settle down.
I do have some, I forgot.
You have the
Um,
kombucha? I'd buy kombucha
yeah.
all the time, but it's like $30 for a bottle these days.
Yeah,
It's
I
ridiculous.
try to keep an eye on a sale, but then I only like a couple of sips, and then I have to throw it in the fridge. Um,
Oh,
but,
I think they throw it out. I'm like, oh my
no.
god.
No, no, no.
Does the
Um,
kid like the kombucha?
she'd probably do this. She'd probably have a few sips and then throw it out. So, yeah, I don't think so. Um,
Okay.
but I liked when Jason also threw in Drew's face the fact that he had, set Wiley up to hear that, that
Yeah,
Michael.
yeah.
I mean, because and he doesn't even really know yet that Drew orchestrated Willow's being, denied access to Michael.
I know. When is that
You
going to
know,
come out?
I
When
don't know. I don't know.
we all want that to come out.
If it doesn't, that's a sign that the writers really are, dropping the ball, I think, you know.
Yeah, or like whenever they bring in new writers, the old writers are like on
Yeah.
purpose after they've been fired,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
telling them stuff,
Right,
or
right, right. Yeah.
I don't know. I
Maybe.
mean, I don't
Maybe.
know if there are new and old writers. It's maybe the same writers, but yeah, that needs to come out, and the Nina
Mhm. Mhm.
bumping uglies with Drew needs to
Doing
come
it.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
doing
Yeah.
it,
Doing it,
doing
yeah.
it.
I know, and I feel like every time Carly's involved in a conversation where they're talking about how evil Drew is, she must feel like kind of a shithead because she was with him, you know?
I know. I have to remind myself that she was
Yeah,
with him. I don't even
yeah.
remember that anymore.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, ugh, God, she must feel like taking a shower every time his name comes up.
Did you like her gift to Brendan today?
Well, I do like a tool. Wasn't a power tool,
Bet
but
you do.
it's
Um,
always nice to have a new wrench.
is it? All right, I'll take
Yeah.
your word for it. I was disappointed. I was like, really?
Yeah. What
And
did
he's
you
like,
yeah, I couldn't imagine what she would give him, but that's did seem, I guess, kinda
those
cute.
two are tepid.
Tepid, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, like tap
Mhm.
water that you can't get cold or hot. They're just sort of
Yeah.
meh,
Mhm.
meh.
Yeah. Okay. I agree. I agree.
Okay, let's move on.
Well, no, you're when you said tepid, you reminded me of Kai and Trina, who were also in episode last week. Because
They
Kai
were? I
Yeah,
don't
Kai
remember.
see, he brought up what he'd overheard
Oh, right, right, right. Yeah, the
at the
overhearing of the whole.
pool. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
which is where you wanna air your dirty laundry is
Right.
at the
Right.
pool. And that was I don't know, I guess that was necessary
Well, they're
to
laying the
hear what he
groundwork
heard.
for
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
for what? Trina's
well,
gonna
whack Kai.
yeah, I don't know what it's gonna lead to.
I don't
I
know
think what
either.
we're seeing is laying the groundwork for Kai to tell Drew something of
Exactly,
this. And
exactly, and there was a
yeah.
moment where Trina's expression was like, "Oh, I don't know if I can trust him to keep this quiet,"
Right,
you
right. Because
know?
he's such a like sort of howdy doody sort, such
Yeah,
a
and he still seems to
yeah.
feel so indebted to Drew regardless of what everybody else says about Drew, you know?
Yeah, right. We're
So,
all just driving him into Drew's arms, just like we were talking
yeah,
about.
yeah. Well, and I
So
wondered
that could be bad, yeah.
it could be bad, and Drew is talking to what's his name? Martin, about how they needed to get everything they could. It was a war, blah, 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 you know?
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
excuse me. Sorry. Mm.
I wonder, I don't know. I wonder if you could somehow weaponize Kai, you know, to
Hmm.
infiltrate somehow. I don't know how that would
Yeah,
work exactly, but
but my only hope is that it'll break up Kai and Trina and because
yeah,
that just doesn't that's not working.
there's no
It's like
sizzle, is there?
there's no sizzle. It's not like when somebody gets a fajita plate.
Right,
That's a
right. We want a
sizzle.
fajita plate,
We
you
want the
know?
fajita plate, baby, where you feel like you might get injured.
Yeah,
by
yeah.
your dinner. Yeah,
It's a dangerous meal.
yeah.
Yeah. Mm,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I'd forgotten about that. And we also had some Natalia stuff. Do you think that
Mhm.
we've seen the last of the Natalia character? Like she'll be off to Belize and that's it?
I don't I don't know. That was a weird solution that Sonny came up with, I thought.
I like
Uh
it. What's wrong with it? Perfect.
Well, yeah, I guess I would probably take that deal. Like, yeah, whatever. I'm not tied to anything
Well,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe. And she really doesn't have relationships with her kids.
No, and I mean her daughter like travels the world supposedly anyway, so it's
Yeah,
not like that she
yeah.
could.
Although maybe she's thinking that Marco isn't a complete lost cause because he does seem to be willing to help her uh with
Yeah.
this
Oh, and did you see that
deal.
somebody on Facebook reminded us the original name
Oh yeah,
was
yeah.
Eloy? Eloy, I
Yeah,
think. Is that
yeah,
right?
that's right,
Yeah.
yeah, uh-huh.
So
So,
that's interesting that they changed it, but
yeah, that's a head scratcher.
I don't know. I just thought maybe we were, they were finally like, okay, Aiden doesn't work, so off
Yeah.
to Paris with you, and
Yeah.
Natalia
Wow.
doesn't work, so off to
Mhm.
Belize, and just
Imagine
time
if
to.
Aiden got killed somehow.
Oh my God,
Would they
you are
bring
dark, and I like it. That would be that would be incredible for the plot line, wouldn't it?
then
If Lucky
Elizabeth
gets Aiden killed while they're off on their
yeah,
adventures.
yeah, and then Elizabeth's feelings for Lucky would be so tangled up, you know?
Yeah.
I
Oh my
don't think she
God.
could ever really love him in a pure way ever
No.
again.
And she would probably really hate him in a pure way.
Yeah. And so there's been a little speculation that maybe they would ultimately recast Lucky if they ever brought him back, so maybe that would be I don't know if that would be worthwhile to bring back a new actor to play the part of Lucky after Aiden is killed.
Yeah, or just ever. But I'm just thinking of
Yeah.
what a death like that would. I mean, we've already seen poor Elizabeth
Oh,
grieve
man,
a
man,
dead
yeah,
child that wasn't dead.
yeah. Mm.
Um,
Right, right, yeah.
but like that was so awful. But still, it would be interesting to see the
Mhm.
impact of that.
Yeah. Oh, and
On,
then Rick would be running to her aid, of course.
oh yeah, I do like having Marty back. Speaking of lawyers, so
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I
like
know
how
they're
he's
just kind of like coming up with ways to use him, but
yeah,
I like how they
yeah,
throw him with Tracy, and those two just crack me
yeah.
up. Like
Yeah, they're pretty funny, and he was, like, he's not hiding the fact that he's an ambulance chaser now, and he was talking to
yeah.
Elizabeth, you know,
I
um
loved how he was just chucking all the raspberries in his mouth, and she smacks his hand, and
I know, you get the feeling those 2 could probably improvise, right? And they would
yeah,
be just
yeah,
as good.
they would be fine. Yeah,
Yeah, um, but, or they could think that Aiden is dead and he maybe could be, like, burned once again, like Michael, go to Baden-Baden and then come home
button,
a
button.
completely
Yeah,
different actor who's maybe 20
right.
years younger than this
Well,
actor.
we don't need to burn them necessarily to have them come back. They just need to be gone for a time and come back as somebody else.
Till
But
we're fuzzy in the head about what he looked like.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, mhm,
Um,
yeah.
but I do think I have a feeling that they've written that particular Aiden off because
Yeah, maybe, maybe.
the poor guy just went down like a load of bricks.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault. He
It
might have
really
made a good
wasn't.
Professor Dalton. I mean, who knows?
Oh yeah, do you want to talk about your love for Professor Dalton some more?
Well, it's fading. It's fading.
As I said to you earlier, but I'll say it to all of our friends, I didn't like seeing his titties today. I
You
don't
said
know
nipples
why.
before, didn't you?
Either way, I found it
Potato,
disturbing. I have no
potato.
idea why. I mean, that's my problem. Like a perfectly beautiful actor.
Mhm.
But I like suddenly turn, you see on the screen is like, oh God, like it felt. It felt very naked, you know?
Yeah, maybe because he didn't have, like, all the whole tan thing going on, like, he seemed like he
That
was
could
more,
be.
like,
Like, down
flesh,
here
like
in
normal.
Florida, everybody is like an old piece of leather, and so
Yeah.
even the, fat old men with floppy boobs and stuff, like,
Mhm.
it looks like they're wearing a shirt anyway, you know?
That's for all our listeners in Florida. Thank you for listening. And I
Well,
guess
I'm
we
one of
won't
these
have any Florida statistics anymore,
I
so
no, I'm one of these floppy, fat, leathery old people down here. But you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
these old
yeah,
guys that are down here in just shorts,
yeah.
out there, spraying their
Mhm,
Roundup every day and
mm,
stuff. That
yeah,
like
that's
that's
a good
their
look.
that's their uniform.
Shorts and one of those
The
Roundup
the
dispensers.
Roundup dispensers, yeah, declaring war on the weeds.
Isn't that
But
on the Florida license plate?
yeah, yeah. There's something called spruce that I'm curious
Yeah,
about, like,
right,
if
that
it's
they
for
say
real,
is
like, are you
safe
for
for pets,
real?
right, right,
Yeah,
yeah. Um,
uh,
hmm,
it probably costs $8 million more than but,
maybe. Um, okay, well, let's
anyway,
see.
yeah, so
How do we
this
move
third
on from that?
I don't know, but, uh, it was kinda sweet though that Gio is supportive
Oh,
of Emma even though he can see that she's, trying to use her sexiness to
yeah, I mean, how much did you love him when he said he would support her, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And then it wasn't he and she even mentioned, like, your line, like, you wanna ride in and be the knight in shining armor or something, and he's like, "Only if you want me to," I thought he was really, really evolved there,
I
the
know
way he
these 2
was.
are like a very balanced couple. It's
Yeah. Maybe they've
yeah.
learned from all the adults around them,
I think
how not to do it.
when they become a couple, it will be like one of those fajita plates coming out to your table, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, I would like that too for them. Um, and for some reason, I'm always a little surprised that Gio's able to perform his job at the pool when he's got all this personal turmoil. But I'm glad that he's got this sort of like other world, where he can somehow
Well,
like
it looks like a pretty easy gig. You just walk around in your stripy shorts and
and
like I
eavesdrop
know
on
people can
people.
drown in like just a foot of water, but
Sure,
it
sure.
seems
Mhm.
less likely. They had somebody doing laps. They must have had really
I know. Oh,
contort
that
themselves to
was that the professor? Wasn't
Oh,
that the
that was
professor?
probably yeah,
Yeah.
Dalton, yeah, like,
Mhm.
must have
Mhm.
had to really, like, fold
Yeah,
himself and then
that's
get,
true. Right, right, because it's only like a foot deep at that end.
yeah,
Mm,
um,
true.
anyway, okay, so, I don't know, did we cover, like, the big stuff from the couple of days earlier?
I think we did. I think we did.
So,
Maybe.
I feel like we 2 big confrontations were,
Mhm.
Chase and Dante, and then,
Oh,
of course,
yeah. Oh,
Brook Lynn
yeah.
and Lulu.
Yes.
So, who do you wanna start with?
Let's get Brooklyn and Lulu out of the way, I guess, first. Ugh.
It's it is getting tiresome,
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
It's just the same old over and over again, and I don't know,
Yeah.
like, what it's gonna take for Lulu to even feel the need to be introspective and think about, um I mean, if your mind is so made up, like, I
Yeah.
don't know,
Yeah.
will she ever be able to take
Mhm.
any responsibility for what she did? Even I don't know.
It's kinda like Drew. I mean, it seems like
Yeah.
in their minds, they're doing everything they're supposed to be doing,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, and that was just so, like, appalling when she said, I don't think I even did anything wrong."
Yeah, I have
Like,
nothing to
"What?"
apologize for,
Yeah, yeah.
and Maxie did a great job of refereeing and trying to, like, sort of be honest, with both of
Yeah,
them, but
yeah.
and ultimately, I think she saw that Lulu really wasn't where she should be in this thing, and I
Right.
like that she called her out, you know?
it did seem like Brook Lynn was softening a little bit, like
Yeah,
not
yeah.
not softening like I forgive you, but
Mhm.
willing to like
Mhm.
hear what she had to say, and but now it's
Mhm.
like we've cemented
Yeah.
this
Mhm.
vendetta, and now she's got
Mhm.
Marco. I don't
Mhm.
understand what's happening with
With the
that
Brit
whole
thing.
thing. Yeah, we know
Yeah.
Britt, the character, the actor,
Mhm.
is supposed to be back in July, so next month.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
But
Mhm.
what, like, what's remind me what the connection is with
Oh,
Britt and
jeez.
Lulu.
Ah,
Ah, gee,
crap. I knew there was gonna be questions I had
a
no
quiz of
memory
some
of the
kind.
answer to. Yeah.
Were
Did it
they
have
enemies?
something to
Were they
do with
friends?
or did it have anything to do with, like, an embryo? Was Brit carrying a baby?
Oh,
Lulu
did Britt
was
steal
she
a
the
baby or something?
or steal an embryo? You know? Or a sweater? I don't remember.
From Lulu?
I don't
Well,
remember.
she wasn't the one who like engineered the whole birth of Charlotte, was she?
She didn't engineer it, I don't think, but didn't she wasn't she in a relationship with Nicholas Britt with Nicholas where he
Yes,
found
yes.
out something about her that he couldn't forgive her for? Did that have to do with Lulu?
Oh God.
Ah, shit, I don't know. Some one of our Facebook people will fill us in, I'm sure, but,
I know, they all
um
have way better memories than we do.
I
But I
know.
thought, I'll tell you what, when they're talking about a dead woman with this dead woman, and I was like,
Mhm.
I was sure it was going to be Helena, something about Helena,
Oh, yeah. Ugh, yeah, could be.
which maybe it's good it's not. But
Right, right. She's in there
so I
somewhere.
don't know. So Brooklyn's got some little
Yeah.
something on
To
her here.
help
I don't know
prove that Lulu's not the
what.
mother. Hmm. Yeah.
Oh, would they
Maybe
be?
Lu
Would she be trying to prove that she's really not Charlotte's mother or something like that?
maybe something like that.
I
Huh.
mean,
Or
Lulu hasn't like. I don't think she remembers that Charlotte's there. So
I know,
I don't know
or
if she'll be
Rocco
too
at this
broken
point.
up if they take
Yeah.
Charlotte away, because there's been no mention of her for a million years.
They'll be escorting Charlotte out of the house, and she's like, "Who is that? How long have you been here?"
I mean,
I
and
didn't
it could
realize
be
you've
so
been a cleaning woman.
easily taken care of. I know, I'm sure the actor is off on some summer thing or whatever, but
Mhm.
a conversation where they talk about, like, I talked to, Charlotte last night about what's going
Mhm.
on with
Mhm.
Dante and his new, so any,
Yeah. Yeah.
referring to the girl, for God's sake.
Mhm. Right. And you'd think Rocco would be spending time with
Yeah, or
Charlotte
like,
because
yeah,
he
or
missed her.
She could say Charlotte's been really sweet to Rocco. She knows Rocco's going
Mhm.
through stuff right now.
Mhm.
Anything.
Mhm.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
come on, writers. Come on, writers. Do a little better.
Yeah, try harder. I mean, just one extra line here and there,
Yeah, yeah. But
you know?
anyway, so that, I mean, the fight was well acted, of course.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um,
But it did feel like we've had those exact same
we,
lines at least
yeah,
twice probably
We've
before.
done this already. I mean, we
Yeah.
finally had a slap, which is always fun. But
Always fun, although I think that weakens Brooklyn's case if she were ever to challenge Lulu, you know? She
yeah.
doesn't wanna be looking like the one who can't control herself physically.
Yeah, but anyway, so that was, I mean, they were bound
Mm.
to have it out, but it wasn't
Yeah.
terribly interesting.
No, it
I didn't
wasn't.
think.
I know, I was thinking Maxie was impressive. I did think Brooklyn did a good job delivering those lines again, and I guess Lulu did too, but I just can't stand her.
Yeah, her sort of tone deafness about her
Yeah,
actions is
yeah,
it's just getting more and more appalling, but
yeah, right. Mhm,
um
yeah. Oh,
so
one thing
the
sorry,
oh, go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, I just forgot about what I was gonna say.
Oh
There was a
no, it's that easy.
there was another storyline. What the hell was it? It was from last week too.
What the hell?
What the hell? It'll come to me. Go ahead, keep
Can I
talking.
pet that dog? Um
I I don't know what that meant. everyone, if you're wondering if that's some sort of a new catchphrase for Gia,
Oh
maybe.
no, it's that
Maybe.
when I did the what the hell voice, it just reminds
Oh.
you. You've seen that video where the little girl is trying to pet the bear and she no. Didn't I send that to you? Haven't we had this
Ah, shit.
conversation?
Shit.
And she's like
Yeah. Okay.
screaming at her mother, like, "Can I pet that dog? Can I pet that dog?" And the mother's trying to yank her away. It's like,
Uh-huh.
no,
No.
just because there's this little bear. It's a small bear, but it's up on the porch.
Okay.
No.
That
Anyway,
yeah,
it's
I
kind
don't
of
see the
funny.
I would have let her pet him. Yeah.
Yeah, of course you would. Oh yeah, and
Mhm.
that was a
Mhm.
cute raccoon you sent me. Of course, like
Mhm.
shocking because you have an entire bag of
Bird seed on
very
the porch.
expensive sunflower seed dumped all over the porch.
What in the world is that raccoon doing there?
Why is all the wildlife walking in and out of the house?
I know, I'm wondering when he's gonna realize the kitchen door is open.
Oh my God, you've got about a month to secure the perimeter
Before you come.
before I come.
You'll be on the second floor. These animals won't get to you.
Oh, because yeah, animals aren't too nimble. They don't like climb trees or anything. Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway,
dear, dear. Mhm.
do you want to talk about Chase and Dante's little
Yes,
party in
yes,
the jail cell there?
yes, let's talk about that.
All right. Satisfying or not satisfying?
Satisfying. I think, I would've I guess overall, yeah, satisfying, definitely, because I think because Chase I loved Chase. I loved that he's standing by Brook Lynn regardless of what Dante thinks, boys should be, to each other. His wife comes first. I loved that. And I love that he stood his ground so firmly that Dante had no choice but to sort of keep, like, processing things, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean he was such a grown up too because
Yeah.
when he crossed the line and said that, classic, but you're not a
Mhm.
father, like
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
would have been when I would have slapped Dante.
Yeah, exactly, exactly, yep.
But instead he was like he was wounded, but he's
Mhm.
like, I'm still
Mhm.
Dante's friend, you know.
Mhm.
He's
Mhm.
he like he didn't allow that to like flip him, even though, like he was
Right.
saying, Dante's just been spewing evil on everybody because
Yes,
he's so
yes.
hurt.
Yeah, and
And
and yeah, and like Chase, I was so glad he said that, it was because of the way he'd been treating Gio. Like Dante was
right,
sort of like acting out all these other things when at the root of it, he knew he had been a dick to Gio,
yeah, and
you know.
I love Dante. And I love that
Yep.
actor,
Mhm.
but I I wanted to see more in his face or more in his tone or
Mhm.
something when he finally made kind of a little
Mm.
realization.
Yeah, yeah,
It
that's why
felt
I
a little
hesitated to
deflated
say
or something.
yeah, yeah, that's why I hesitated to say it was satisfying because I wanted kinda more of that end of the conversation, to be more balanced, I guess, from,
Yeah, I mean, not that he was suddenly going to be all like puppies and rainbows to
right,
everybody, but
right.
I wanted to see the hamster on the wheel,
Mhm.
like stopping
Mhm.
and going, "Why? Wait a minute,"
Yeah,
like I don't know.
yeah.
I wanted to see more of the
Mhm. Me too.
transformation.
Me too, yeah, and
I
maybe
should
we'll
have
get
given you
some
an
more.
third option: satisfying,
Okay.
unsatisfying, or
What would I
um,
have added or done differently?
like satisfying up to a point, or
Yeah, I would say, yeah,
um,
I give it an 85%,
all
but
right,
yeah, if
like
we'd
it
had
would have
more
been.
of that part of Dante, that would have pulled it up to 100. Yeah.
Yeah. I use a
Uh-huh.
lot of percentages myself too, and I'm suck at math so badly that
Huh, interesting.
it's weird that I bother.
Yeah.
Like the whole time when people are asking how am I feeling? Was I getting better? And I'm doing it in percentages for them. I'm
I
like,
know, you
I
told
think
me
I'm like at
98.
I know, and I think like the other day in my head I was like, I think I'm at about 81% right now. You know, I'm doing like a little analysis. Like still a bit of a sinus headache, some pressure, still.
Dear
But
diary.
I no longer feel like taking my eyes out with a melon baller. which is where I
Uh,
was in the beginning.
oh man, that's funny. Yeah. Well, when you said 98, I thought I don't think I've ever felt 98% in my life.
In your life. Well, I think like I don't appreciate wellness and how well, I usually I'm
Mhm.
being so mean to my body mentally,
Yeah,
I'm so
yeah.
pissed at it for being wrinkly and fat and old and
Uh-huh.
whatever and
Yeah. Uh,
frizzy hair and all.
uh-huh.
Usually I'm mentally beating my body up.
Uh-huh.
Um, but when you're brought low with a little illness,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
suddenly realize, like, when you get well again, like how well you really are. Like, well, like
Yeah.
look at
Mm.
me weed whacking this whole freaking row. I'm at 1,000 degrees, you know.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's
Well,
beautiful, Gia.
I do. I like to try and appreciate. It's like also
Mhm.
when you see people that have mobility issues already or
Mhm.
whatever, and I'm
Mhm.
like, God, I'm striding around like a champ still,
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's I gotta
Mhm.
appreciate that while that's still happening.
Yeah, you do. And I don't know, I know we don't get political and probably I shouldn't say this, but at the
Uh,
protest
uh,
I went to,
uh, you
I
put
think
it on
I
the
think I'm
bag, but
okay with losing people if they're
all
Trump
right.
supporters. But anyway, there were some vets at this protest, people who are in wheelchairs and stuff,
Yeah.
they had to be in their late 80s probably some of these people, and you just think, wow, they're coming out, they have limited time. We know that. I mean, we
And
all
and
do,
just
but
it'd be much more daunting thought to do
yeah.
anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I really I admired them for getting out there,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
because they,
Yep. For sure.
they had to. But anyway, I'm sorry if that offended anybody. Um, what was I gonna say? Oh, what
I
I keep
I
not really.
but
I wanted I
on the oh
sorry, go
good.
ahead. Go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say it has also been just such an upsetting time with the political violence and upheaval,
Mhm.
and it's just
Mhm. Mhm.
um it's been like it makes like going to General Hospital, going to Port Charles, like a really like necessary part of your day. Like, okay,
Yeah.
now I
Yeah.
can, like a little old
Mhm.
lady, I can get lost in my story and not
Yeah.
think about the soap opera that seems to be our world right now. It's
Right,
um,
right. Yeah, which is why it's unfortunate that they have a political storyline going on in General Hospital,
I know. I do wish we could get rid of like that. That seems
Yeah,
like a poor choice. They could have
yeah,
avoided that. But
yeah.
anyway,
Um,
okay. So Chase and Dante. So do you think
mhm.
Dante's gonna be the Dante that we know and love from here on out,
I
or
was really worried that we weren't gonna see that Dante anymore, but then I think Chase helped us bring him back, and I hope. I mean, because that's the contrast between Dante and Lulu. I think Dante's capable of realizing, that there's
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot more going on here. He's more empathetic, definitely towards Brooklyn, or should be still.
Well, Dante was lashing out
Yeah,
of
he was.
being hurt
Yeah, yeah.
in a lot of ways and being blindsided.
Mhm.
Lulu's motivation, Lulu instigated this whole
Yeah.
thing.
Mhm.
Um, so she can't even claim the right to be,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah,
like
she's not.
acting out
She's
the way Dante is.
Right,
I
because
don't think
she's
so.
yeah, she doesn't even have a role in this story really,
Well, she
except that
wasn't supposed to. Like, she made herself the star. That was the
yeah,
whole thing,
yeah.
anyway.
Well, and she acts like it's like her relationship with Dante that's forced her, to be part of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
story. Um,
When Dante, before he'd kind of had his little epiphany there,
mhm.
um,
Yeah.
when he was ranting and raving, I was like, I hope he and Lulu do get together because they're both such miserable sods. They deserve each other, like,
Yeah, yeah.
God. Uh,
But yeah, hopefully he's
but yeah, so Chase is the absolute winner of
yeah, yeah.
the whole episode for being so steadfast and
Mhm. Mhm.
like calm and like all the things Dante is when he's dealing with Sunny. For Sunny,
Yeah,
like
true, true. Right. Yeah, Dante does have all those qualities generally.
yeah. He'll come back to us. Our little
I
Dante.
think you're right. I think he will. The one other storyline that we didn't talk about before I forget again is the Ava Cody thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's just such a bit of fluff, isn't it?
It is a bit of fluff, but I thought Cody did a great job when he went to the gallery.
I so wish they'd had better props for that. Um, I mean, I
Yeah.
was having a hard time. Like, I like how she talks about art.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like
Uh-huh.
when she goes into that mode. But I
Mhm.
felt like
Mhm.
those paintings looked like they'd been picked up from some high school art gallery, or not
Right, right.
even.
Like, yeah, some sort of warehouse or maybe like the TJ Maxx art department.
Um, sometimes I like stuff in there. So, uh, can you buy those and just paint over them? Like, is that a cheap way to get a canvas, a stretched
Uh,
canvas, or maybe not? But
well, no, you probably could. You'd have to treat it a bit first, I think, probably.
remember when we learned to stretch canvases? What
I
didn't we
sure
learn that
do.
together?
I
Yeah,
sure do, Chia. Yeah. Mhm.
that was hard.
It is. It was nice that you had your husband there. He was just your boyfriend at that point, wasn't he?
Just my boyfriend. He's right here. Don't say anything bad. Uh, he
No, I
can
was gonna
he
say
can
that
stretch a canvas like
he was
nobody's
stretching
business.
canvases for you when we were
I
in
know he
school.
was painting gesso and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why he got the
yeah,
name Gesso Boy.
yeah.
Mhm.
He's all right. He's all
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Did you
yeah,
want to
he
say
is.
anything to the people? He's gone radio silent over there. He's
You
just
can
leaving.
yeah, yeah, we could all feel his eyes rolling.
Yeah.
Um,
But anyway,
but
yeah, Cody did do a good job. And I mean, he was laying it on a little thick. Like,
a
I don't know.
little, but I mean, not too badly, and I think he's come a long way, just the character, it seems like he's settled
Oh
into his
gosh, yeah,
character, right?
yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah. I
so,
mean, I
yeah,
like
they
that he's still like kind of a grifter dude. That I mean, that
Mhm,
like he's taken this whole thing just for the money, and
mhm.
so that's remained true to his original,
Yeah, yeah.
kind
Mhm,
of personality. I
mhm.
don't know. I don't know what like. Remind me again why they think this is such a great idea.
Well, this is Christina, who's
Christina. It's
completely
Christina who's
nuts.
hatched the
Yeah,
plan. Yeah.
she's just
She's gonna break
completely
up
nuts.
Ava and Rick, and they'll turn on each other,
Yeah, so the whole
and
blackmail thing somehow will be, like, neutralized, but that doesn't make any sense,
that
no,
seems
and
pretty convoluted. Like, why
it's
they might break
very
up, but they're still gonna like be
yeah,
blackmail partners. I
yeah,
don't think they'd. I don't
right.
know.
Right, yeah, and when she told Alexis at one point, she showed a little sign of, being smart, and when she said, "You haven't learned a single thing," but then she didn't really shut her down, you know? She didn't
No.
say, You've
Yeah.
gotta you've gotta just
You're just gonna have to
yeah.
turn yourself in at this point.
Yeah, or just, like, go back to Charlie's and just do your job and quit fucking
I know.
around, you
We
know?
never even see her at Charlie's either. That whole like Charlie's thing was.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. So she's a lost cause, and I'm afraid Alexis doesn't even know what right and wrong are in her own world anymore, you know?
No, and it's not her fault. Her daughters
It's
have driven
not
her to
really,
it.
no. I when Molly sort of catches on to some of these things that are going
Oh
on, she's just
yeah,
gonna
yeah. She's
oh
gonna
boy.
be like the whole, but like not only will she just probably not want to speak to Christina, but I think her mother also will be. I mean, it'll be like
Yeah.
she won't believe that Alexis did it all for them. I don't think
Oh
that'll.
yeah, yeah, that won't hold any water. And
Yeah.
then she will, Rick, she'll find out that Rick is a blackmailer. So, both of her parents are idiots.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And
Um.
then Cody's gonna be sort of compromised if he's sleeping with Ava at this point. So who will she
Yeah.
have to turn to? You know?
Yeah. But
Maybe Isaiah
I do like that they dreamed up a way to get Ava and
and
Cody together.
Cody.
Just that's
Yeah.
kind of fun, a little
It is
bit
kind of
fun.
fun. Yeah, yeah.
They'll
Mhm.
probably have some comic moments, I think.
They probably will, yeah. Do you think he's thinking at all about how this might affect his relationship with Molly? Doesn't seem like he is.
It doesn't seem like he is. I think he's just thinking about money.
Money, yeah, yeah,
And Ava's not hard to look at, so
true.
he might have a little Mrs. Robinson kind of a
Mhm, mhm. Oh, they
thing.
could have fun with that, just in the pool and stuff.
My references are so old.
They
I need
are
to
very, very old, and your birthday's coming
update.
up, so are you gonna be 59, Gia?
Yes.
Mm, how about that?
Yes. Yes. How did this happen?
Oh, it just happens. It just
Yeah,
happens.
and
I realized I made some crack about, Brook Lynn wearing a blouse that a 65-year-old woman might wear, and I was thinking, that's pretty close to
yeah.
how old I am. Like, do I have a blouse like that?
Oh, and I hadn't replied to it yet, but we had a nice listener on our Facebook page explain that they believe that that actor is I don't think it was Orthodox Jewish, but something
Oh,
about the religion and
okay. Uh-huh.
the dictates of her religion.
Certain modesty.
Yeah,
Mhm,
like certain
mhm.
covering. I didn't
Uh-huh.
look it up or anything to see. I mean,
Okay.
I know I've seen that actress in.
Mm.
She was in what was that? The Mindy Project. Mindy
Oh, yeah,
Project.
maybe,
She
yeah.
was like a secretary. I
Uh-huh.
don't think she was on it the whole
Yeah.
time, but
Right, right,
yeah,
right,
it was a
yeah.
long. And she was
Mhm.
in very not modest clothing on that. But I
Hmm.
mean, of course, she might have more
Yeah.
recently
Right.
become religious with this,
Yeah.
whatever. And
Yeah.
that's it's not. I just think. I mean, maybe the wardrobe just throws up their hands when people have like
Mhm.
restrictions like that. But I think
Mhm.
they can do more with the shaping of
Mhm.
the boxy jackets are what kind of
Yeah.
get me. The
Yeah. And just like it does seem like all black. I mean, I know that people think it's slimming, but I don't know that that's the point really. I don't know.
I think also they kind of forget the season when they dress her.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Like
exactly.
there
That's
are
true.
there are things that will cover your arms that are
Mhm.
seasonal.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
she could be in a colorful pool wrap or something or
Yeah.
whatever. I
Mhm.
mean, I don't think we've seen her at the pool in a while, but
Mhm. Mhm.
anyway, I just think wardrobe could work a little hard. I mean, she's a very pretty woman.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, she feels frumpy for what her job
Yeah.
is supposed to be.
And her
Uh,
person, because she's fierce and she's
right.
such a
She's
strong
bold and
character like
yeah, yeah.
Tracy, and you feel like you could dress her as colorfully or as Tracy, and
Put her
she
in
could
that like
pull it off,
kimono
you
thing
know?
that Tracy had
Yeah.
on today, which
Yeah,
I'm kind
almost,
of in
yeah.
love with that thing. I know she's worn that before, but the
Yeah.
colors of it are so
Mhm.
incredible.
Mhm.
I would look like a street person if I put it on. I would suddenly
Like you
like I could
like
not for
you
some
robbed
reason.
somebody and stole it off of them.
Yeah, yeah, I'd be wearing it over my PJs or something. But Tracy like has this elegance that whatever
Yeah.
she puts on, it's.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, I don't certainly dress my age.
I don't either.
I dress a lot younger. Just I dress like a 5-year-old.
Uh,
But anyway, that could very well be true. So it could be a religious
mhm.
guidelines, and of course, people should abide by that. I don't have any,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
great. But
Mhm.
I just wish, yeah, I wish we could have her be a little more whatever, a little more
Mhm.
Brooklyn in that
Yeah.
wardrobe.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um.
Right.
Anyway, okay. What other big things did we need to? Are we
I
at
th-
our hour? We
yeah,
probably are.
we're past our
Oh
hour.
Jesus, we better quit.
Yeah. I think we
Okay.
covered a lot of it. Not all of it,
Okay.
but we got the big things, I think.
The big stuff that happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Yeah.
somebody will
So,
probably fill us in on the Brit Lulu
yes.
connection, and
Yes.
that'll come
Mhm.
clear to all of us.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep.
Anyway, it's so good to be back with all you nice
Yes,
people.
welcome back to you. We sure did
Thank
miss
you.
you. Mhm.
Yeah, thank you. I was
Mhm.
gonna try, but I was like almost hallucinating that night when I talked to you. I was like, I was like, what? What's that?
Yeah, I don't think
You
that
wouldn't
would
have
have
wanted
gone
to hear
very
me.
well.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, so we should be back on track now.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. We'll be back on Thursday, right?
Yep. As far
Alrighty.
what's this phrase? God willing and creek don't rise. Something
Yes.
like that.
That's
Yeah.
yes, it's that one, I think. Yeah.
Just doesn't roll off the tongue. But anyway. Okay, you have a lovely evening and we'll talk to everybody in a few days.
Yeah. Okay. You too, Gia. Goodbye.
All right, bye everybody.
Bye.